Bob McClory, a friend of Liz for many years. Liz and our daughter Jennifer became friends some 20 years ago, and soon Liz became our friend too. And what a friend she has been over this long haul. We've met Dan several times in the past year. Margaret and I and Liz and Dan had a spectacular dinner about 4 months ago, and we're still talking about it, still paying for it. We welcome all of you, to this momentous event, the marriage of Elizabeth Quinlan and Daniel Curran. It's no accident that we're all sitting here looking out at this enormous body of water. There's something about an ocean or a great lake that is awesome. On a beautiful day like this, you'll see people standing on the shore and they're just transfixed. They're mesmerized, almost hypnotized. And there is a reason. A body of water like this is bigger and older and deeper and more mysterious than we can imagine or even comprehend. There's something humbling and a bit scary about these great concentrations of water, too. My little grandniece lives in Chicago, and she was much acquainted with the water by going to swimming pools at the age of 3, by the age of 3. And they went on a little vacation up in Delaware. And for the first time, little Tessa looked out at an ocean. And she was all dressed up, ready to go in. And she said, no, no. Her mother encouraged her to go in, and she said, water too big. There's a kind of wisdom in that, I think. You don't go out in the water without precautions, even if you're going out in a kayak, because the water can change its mood so quickly, and the wind can change so quickly. And when you do go out, you go prepared. Both Liz and Dan are fans of big water. They both have lived close to the water and treasure its joys. So no surprise that this is where they want to enter their marriage, close to their friends, close to the water. I'm going to make a jump here and suggest that the commitment they make today has something in common with a large body of water. When two people agree to live together in good times and bad, in health and sickness until death, they are stepping into something so profound, so big and deep and more mysterious than anything that can be comprehended. And there is something scary about that. So Dan and Liz are going in with precautions and preparations. Foremost among these is the love that they have for one another. And then there's the love that and friendship that all of you have for them, and the prayers that you will say for them, offer for them today and hopefully in the future. And so we begin this ceremony with 2 readings.
A friendship blessing. May you be blessed with good friends. May you learn to be a good friend to yourself. May you be able to journey to that place in your soul where there is great love, warmth, feeling, and forgiveness. May this change you. May it transfigure that which is negative, distant, or cold in you. May you be brought in to the real passion, kinship, and affinity of belonging. May you treasure your friends. May you be good to them, and may you be there for them. May they bring you all the blessings, challenges, truth, and light that you need for your journey. May you never be isolated. May you always be in the gentle nest of belonging with your Anam Cara.
A reading from Corinthians. If we speak in the tongues of men and women and of angels, but have not love, we are only resounding gongs or clanging cymbals. If we have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if we have a faith that can move mountains, but have not love, we are nothing. If we give all we possess to the poor and surrender our bodies to the flames, but have not love, we gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. Love never fails. But when there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became an adult, I put away childish things behind me. Now we see but a poor reflection in the mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
In this reflection that we just heard, it's really a kind of poem. St. Paul tries to list the characteristics of love. It is patient, it is kind, it is not self-seeking, it keeps no record of wrongs, it rejoices with the truth, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. It is love, I think St. Paul is saying, that will keep you buoyed up, keep you from drowning in treacherous waters. Love is the absolute requirement and essential ingredient of the commitment of marriage. Now, in the old formal manuals, wedding manuals, we have a statement that couples used to make. It summarizes in 5 words, I think, what St. Paul was trying to get at. The bride would say to the groom, and the groom would say to the bride, "Unto thee I plight my troth." It sounds great, but nobody really knew what it meant. It sounded noble. It sounded like something important. But people rarely were told what it meant. I looked it up. It's Old English, really Old English. And it means, I promise, I commit to you my truth, the deepest part of who I am. In this world, we don't commit that to many people. It's too costly to do that on a large scale. So we rarely commit our deepest and whole self to another. with no pretense, without mask, without secrets. I don't think politicians plight their troth to their constituents, or employees to their bosses, or car salesmen to their customers. Because when you promise your truth to another, you make yourself vulnerable. Yet that's what marriage precisely asks of us. Total truth, total openness. And that's why many marriages don't work. Something is held back. The structure isn't solid. And that commitment is washed away in the towering, threatening waves of life. I think Dan and Liz are well equipped to face the waves and undertows of life. Both are solid, mature people who have established careers and don't make decisions lightly. It's true that they aren't alike. Dan is a strong, curious, witty gentleman. He might remind you of Jimmy Stewart, the quiet but effective hero in countless movies, many westerns back in the olden days. Liz is more outgoing, exuding friendliness, and more than willing to share her opinions on many subjects, because she is incredibly well informed. She might remind you a bit of Katharine Hepburn in one of her major movie roles. I believe their differences will complement one another and enhance their marriage as long as they remember to share their deepest truths. There are two things that you need to build a solid marriage. One I've already, excuse me, this becomes a battle. One I've already mentioned is friends. Real people with whom you can share time and confidences. People you respect and whom you trust. People you can have a good time with. But to none of these friends, no matter how dear or close, do you plight your troth. That's reserved for one person only. Second, you need to reach out beyond yourselves. It's a big world, and a lot of people out there aren't as fortunate as you or me or most of us here. Whether it's a big national cause you give some of your time to and some of your resources to, or to something local, or to something related to your profession. It's important to stretch yourselves beyond your comfort zone. It's good for the health of your marriage too. So now we return in spirit to the water, where Dan and Liz will now formally proclaim their marriage vows, the vows which they have composed themselves for this occasion. And by these words which they say to one another, they become married. No minister or priest or anybody else marries people. The couple marries one another. So I ask Dan and Liz to come forth now and state their vows.
Liz, you amaze me every day. You amaze me with your love, your kindness. You amaze me with your friendship and your generosity and our shared sense of adventure. As the light of the lake reflects upon us, I promise to reflect all of these. To love you, to share in your kindness, to be your friend, to share your generosity, and to take you on great adventures in our city and around the world. I promise to take care of you, And 40 years from now, when it's our old future selves, I will take you back to Sarlat, walk you through the plazas, and tell you, you amaze me every day.
Dan, today I vow to love you and treasure you. You are a strength for me, and I promise to be strong for you. You are a harbor for me, and I promise to be a calm in the storm for you. I love your sense of curiosity and play, and we will be adventurers together. You help me be my best self, and I love you for that, and look forward to our life ahead. I promise to be your loving partner in whatever joys we have to share and challenges we have to face. What I hope for us is that we laugh a lot, travel a lot, value and love our family and friends, and enjoy the rhythms of our life together. I hope we will live in a spirit of gratitude, remembering always how lucky we are to have found each other.
I now pronounce you man and wife. Dan and Liz will now exchange wedding rings, a traditional sign of the intertwining of their lives and their commitment to one another. The two become one. No, wait. Hold on. Liz and Dan will now perform a rather unusual ceremony, and that is they will go over here, back here, and they have taken some sand from the beach near where Dan lives, and some sand from the beach where Liz lives, and some sand from the beach that's right here. And they are going to commingle these sands into one vessel. Three different kinds of sand in one vessel. Point to be made is that when you put the sand into the vessel, you can never get it out again. You can never retract your sand or her sand. It becomes your sand together. This concludes the formal service. Oh, Dan, not quite. There is a third reading from Les Miserables, Les Mis, a beautiful selection to be read.
The third reading is a selection from Les Miserables by Victor Hugo. The future belongs to hearts even more than it does to minds. Love, that is the only thing that can occupy and fill eternity. In the infinite, the inexhaustible is requisite. Love participates of the soul itself. It is of the same nature. Like the soul, love is a divine spark. Like the soul, love is incorruptible, indivisible, imperishable. It is a point of fire that exists within us, which is immortal and infinite, which nothing can confine, and which nothing can extinguish. We feel it burning even to the very marrow of our bones, and we see it beaming in the very depths of heaven. What a grand thing it is to be loved. What a far grander thing it is to love. The heart becomes heroic by dint of passion. It is no longer composed of anything but what is pure, and it no longer rests on anything that is not elevated and great. An unworthy thought can no more germinate in it than a nettle on a glacier. The serene and lofty soul, inaccessible to vulgar passions and emotions, dominating the clouds and the shades of this world, its follies, its lies, its hatreds, its vanities, its miseries, inhabits the blue of heaven, and no longer feels anything but profound and subterranean shocks of destiny, as the crests of mountains feel the shocks of earthquake. If there did not exist someone who loved, the sun would become extinct.
I think everyone got the point today about love and commitment and marriage. And with that, we can conclude the service. But we ask no one to move from their seats. There's going to be a formal photo taken, one picture. So you can live through that, I'm sure. And after that, you are dismissed and may go into the in for a drink and prepare for dinner. So thank you again all for coming and making this event so special. It strikes me, I talked about the necessity of having friends, and then I look out at this crowd. If this isn't a bunch of friends, I don't know what else to call it. And I think Dan and Liz are so fortunate to have you as friends. Thank you.